وعدم الكراهة فيه. يجوز أن يكون سورة البقرة وسورة آل عمران وسورة النساء وسورة المائدة وسورة الأنعام وكذا البقية، ولا كراهة في ذلك. كره بعض المتكلمين هذا وقالوا يقال السورة التي تقرأ وسورة التي يذكر فيها آل عمران وسورة التي يذكر فيها النساء وكذلك البقية والصواب الأول. وقد ثبت في الصحيحين عن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قوله سورة البقرة وسورة الكهف وغيرهما مما لا يحصى. وكذلك عن الصحابة رضي الله عنهم قال ابن مسعود هذا مقام الذي أنزلت عليه سورة البقرة وأنه في صحيحين قرأت على رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم سورة النساء. والأحاديث وأقوال السلف في هذا أكثر من أحد أن تقصر. وفي السورة لغتان الهمزة وترك الأفصح وهو الذي جاء به القرآن. وممن ذكر اللغتين ابن قتيبة في غير الحديث غريب الحديث. فصل في حكم نسبة القرآن إلى أئمة القراءة ولا يقرأ أي يقال هذه قراءة أبي أمر أو قراءة نافع أو حمزة أو كسائي أو غيرهم. هذا هو المختار الذي عليه عمل السلف والخلف من غير منكر. وروى ابن أبي داود عن أبي إبراهيم النخعي رحمه الله أنه قال كانوا يقرؤون أن يقال سنة فلان وقراءة فلان. والصحيح ما قدمنا.
الحمد لله رب العالمين مكرمنا بالشريعة الغراء على لسان حبيبه المصطفى سيد أهل الأرض وسيد أهل السماء. وعلى آبائه وإخوانه من معادن الجود والصفاء، وعلى ملائكة الله المقربين وجميع عبادك الصالحين، وعلينا معهم وفيهم برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين، وعلى كل عبد قد اصطفى. أما بعد، فيواصل الإمام النووي في كتابه التبيان في آداب حملة القرآن في ذكر بعض مما يتعلق بالمراء والجدال في كلام الله سبحانه وتعالى بغير حق. فيقول أن الإمام النووي in this chapter he speaks about a person who doubts any part of the Quran, or he uses the Quran in order to formulate, and his sole intention with the Quran is to formulate debates to support his weak and feeble arguments. He uses the Quran and the verses of the Quran solely to formulate arguments and debates to support his weak and futile and feeble and fallacies, argumentations. And he says وَيَحْرُمُ الْمِرَاءُ فِي الْقُرْآنِ وَالْجِدَالِ فِي بِغَيْرِ حَقٍّ. It is haram for a person, and al-mira' here is generally it has two meanings. The one meaning is the common one, and that is three meanings. The one is when a person recites the Holy Quran with the intention of showing off. With the intention of showing off. Mean أنه يرائي بقراءته للقرآن. He's doing it in order to show people that he can recite nice, he can recite fluent, he can recite without mistakes, he can do this, he can do that. MashaAllah, hij baca mooi, hij baca gevaarlijk, hij heeft een kwaai stem, hij baca met tajweed, alles is op zijn plek. And he does it so people can praise him. That is haram. That's ma'loom. Another meaning for mira is al-jidal. Al-jidal is arguing, using the Quran to argue and to debate. And this is what Al-Imam An-Nawawi means here by this al-mira'u wal-jidalu fil Qur'ani bi ghayri haqq. As for a person who reads the Quran in order to show off, that is ma'loom. And Al-Imam Al-Nawawi spoke about it in the beginning of the book already, about the importance of reciting the Quran with sincerity and to do it for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's sake. Else, such a person will not receive any reward from his recitation of the kalam of Allah. But here he speaks about a person who uses the Quran in order to debate and to cast doubt in through the verses of Allah in the minds of other believers. And he does so with the intention to support and to build up arguments in the Quran, arguments with the Quran and with the words of Allah Ta'ala to support his weak opinions. His opinions that goes against the aqidah of the Ahlul Salafi wal Khalaf. It goes against the belief of the pious predecessors and even the contemporaries from amongst the scholars. And why we say Al-Khalaf is because the majority of the Khalaf of the Ummah, of the ulama of the Ummah, they are on the manhaj of the Salaf. The majority of the contemporaries and those who came later on from amongst the scholars, the ulama, majority of them are on the manhaj of the Salaf. And there are some that have قد شذ منهم البعض. Some of them have deviated and some of them have gone against the belief and the teachings of the majority of the Salaf, the pious predecessors from among the scholars. But with regards to the majority, still they follow the aqidah and the belief of the Ahlul Sunnati wal Jama'ah. So he says he says that he uses the Quran in order to extract ayat and yudhir dalalat, to show and to showcase and to prove points and argumentations على شيء يخالف مذهبه ويحتمل احتمالا ضعيفا موافقة مذهبه. He says the preponderant madhab, he goes against it and he uses that verse even though it is not intended for that purpose. He uses it to support his weak opinions. He uses it to support his weak opinions. فَيَحْمِلُهَا عَلَى مَذْهَبِهِ. And then he wants to make everyone believe that this is the meaning of the verse and it means that what I believe is correct and what I believe is true. When in reality, that is not the meaning of the kalam, nor is it the meaning of the ayah. وَيُنَاظِرُ عَلَى ذَلِكَ مَعَ ظُهُورِهَا فِي خِلَافِ مَا يَقُولُ. And he debates and arguments about it despite the fact that the zahir of it is contrary to what he's saying. It's not that. أما من لا يظهر له ذلك فهو معذور. As for the person he doesn't understand it, his intention on that, فهو معذور. وقد صح عن الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم المراء في القرآن كفر. He says, the hadith of Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم said that debating or casting doubt in people's hearts through the Quran is kufrun. It's a sign of disbelief or is an act of disbelief. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, because there are some people, they study the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the sole reason why they study Allah's deen is to be able to debate and to argue and to show that they are able to win the opponents in arguments. So all they do is they study the matters within the deen that are كيف يقولون that are الأمور matters that contentious. Wie het gesê contentious nie? Shukran. MashaAllah, is nog wakker. Matters in the deen that are contentious. He uses these ilm especially just to study the contentious issues. And he specializes in the contentious issues. Now a person who studies the deen to benefit himself and to be of benefit, he studies what is essential, and from what is essential he goes to that which is first the fard al-ain, and then he studies the furud al-kifayat, and then he yatadarraj, increases and increases and increases until he eventually gets to those issues that are contentious. He eventually gets, but you don't study that at grass levels. You don't study it at grassroots. You study the technicalities and the differences among scholars and why they differed and what this one said and how he responded and how you study it at a very advanced level. Because at grassroots levels, at foundational phases, doesn't make sense that you teach a person the differences among scholars and why they differed and the dalil. First become proficient, become competent in your subject, in your madhab, in the essentials of your madhab. And then you grow and then you study the adillah of the madhab. From the adillah of the madhab, you study different aqwali in the madhab. So you start off, they just tell you furudul wudu is sittatun. The furud of wudu is 6. Arkanu salati 17. That's all you study. So they tell you the furud of wudu and you just rattle off the furud of wudu without any commentary, without any dalil. You don't study why is it not, why is the niyyah here part of it, and what? None of it. Once you understand the basics, then you study the adillah. You study the adillah. The adillah is the proofs for each and everything. And everything in fiqh is adillah. I speak about now, let's say we're discussing now the aspects of fiqh. Everything in fiqh is adillah for. There's proof. And for the person to think that the fuqaha just they suck things out of their thumb, this is dalilun ala naqsi aqli al-rajul. Person, he doesn't have proper understanding and perception to think that the scholars just suck the ahkam out of their thumb. So he studies the dalil. And then afterwards he studies the ta'arud al-dalilain. When there's two dalils and they outwardly seem to be conflicting one another, why did Imam Shafi'i, by way of example, choose this dalil over that one? And then he studies after the aqwal of the scholars in the same madhab. At the beginning he was told only 17 arkan of salah. Now he comes to here, there is 10 also. There's a qawl that says 10. And he comes to here, there's a qawl that says it's 12. And he comes to here, there's another qawl that says it's 15. And he comes to here, there's a qawl that says there's so much sunnah before dhuhr and so much sunnah. Another qawl says, oh, there's only 2 before and 2 after. So he starts, now he builds, he grows and he grows in terms of his ilm within his own madhab. After he's understood now the different aqwal in his madhab and what is the mu'tamad, what is the accepted view, the official view in the madhab, and what are the weaker views in the madhab. Now he goes and he studies the other madhab. What does Abu Hanifa say with regards to this? But now he's well established in his own madhab. I give you an example. Let's take it in Quran. A person, he doesn't know the riwayah of his own land. He doesn't know his Quran well. But he wants to study, and our riwayah here, for example, is generally we recite Hafs. We recite the riwayah of Hafs and Asim. However, in Morocco, they recite Warsh and Nafi'. In Libya, they recite Qalun and Nafi'. Right? In Yemen, by example, they recite Duri and Abi Amr. Right? So now he doesn't know the riwayah, the official riwayah in his country, but he now really wants to look at this riwayah, he wants to look at that. The result that what happens is now when he actually recites in salah, then he mixes it up. Then he makes talfiq of the different riwayat. Not tawfiq, talfiq. What is the difference between tawfiq and talfiq? Tawfiq is when you take an opinion, even if you're adopting an opinion in another madhab, but you follow that opinion correctly to the extent that you're implementing everything appropriately and the outcome is acceptable in that madhab. Talfiq is when he chooses, he chops and changes, he takes a bit here and takes a bit there, takes a bit there. The end result is he's neither correct in terms of this madhab, nor is his actions correct in terms of. So he's by way of wudu, by way of example. That person says, um, I'm going to take wudu because I'm going to say now what they generally say is now when you go for Umrah and you perform your tawaf, right? So it's difficult when you perform your tawaf to perform tawaf according to the Shafi'i madhab, or that your wudu must be, you keep your wudu according to the Shafi'i madhab. Mullah Yusuf Karan rahmatullah alayh, he said that I once went to Makkah and I made my intention that at least I want to make one tawaf according to the madhab of Imam Shafi'i. Afwan, I want to at least make one tawaf, and whilst I maintain my wudu according to the madhab of Imam Shafi'i. So he says, I made tawaf. I barely finished the first. I had to leave. I had to go. I had to go take wudu again. Came back, barely finished the second, and it continued like it says. It was practically almost impossible for me to be able to perform my tawaf whilst maintaining my wudu according to the Shafi'i madhab. As a result of that, most of the people, they say that when you go for Umrah, for example, and you perform your tawaf, then you take wudu according to the Hanafi madhab. Now the person says, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to practice it. But now he doesn't understand that in terms of the Hanafi madhab, by way of example, there's an addition, the requirement beyond the Shafi'i madhab. And that is when a person makes masah of his head. The masah according to the Shafi'i madhab can be what? وَلَوْ جُزْء مِنْ شَعْرَةٍ. Well, not even a full hair. وَلَوْ جُزْء, even a part of a hair. Anything يطلق عليه anything يطلق عليه مسح ولو جزء من الرأس. A part of a hair or part of your head, if there's no hair مثلا, but it falls within your hairline, your normal hairline. Person's bald and his hair maybe starts behind, but his normal the normal hairline, it falls within, even if you just a part of it. According to Abu Hanifa, what is the condition? ربع الرأس, the quarter of it. So now he doesn't do that. His wudu is not valid according to the Hanafis. It's valid according to the Shafis. He goes and performs his tawaf. He breaks his wudu. He says, my wudu is valid according to the. لا, أنت أصلا you broke your wudu according to the Shafi'iyya, and your wudu is not valid according to the Hanafiyya. So he's technically performing tawaf without wudu. And tawaf requires wudu. Unlike the sa'i, tawaf requires wudu, لأن الطواف بمثابة الصلاة. Rasulullah says, إلا أنه لا كلام فيه. The Prophet said, the tawaf is like salah, except that you cannot speak in your salah. You cannot speak in your salah. So he doesn't, so that's an example of talfiq. He wants to jump around, but he doesn't comply with the conditions of, the end result is, it's invalid according to that madhab that he wanted to perform. Another example, I don't know if it's going to be maybe too technical, but let's try, right? And it may be applicable and important for you to understand this. Zakatul Fitr. Zakatul Fitr. Zakatul Fitr according to Shafi'iyya is what? The one mud of the staple food of your land. One mud of the staple food of your land. We spoke about it in our class. What we said, we spoke about the mud. We're not going to get to that thing. So the condition according to Imam Shafi'i is that when you make ikhraj of your zakatul fitr, it must be what? It must be aynan la naqdan. It must be the actual. It can't be the value of it. It must be the actual food itself. So if it is, for example, you say the staple food is rice, then one mud of rice. If you say it is, for example, wheat, or you say it is barley, then one mud of wheat or barley. I can't say, okay, how much is one mud of rice? Okay, a mud of rice is it's valued at 40 rand, I'm going to give the 40 rand according to the Shafi'i madhab. No, it's invalid. If you want it to be valid according to the Shafi'i, it must be the ayn, the actual ayn of the qut, not the naqd, not the equivalent of it in value, in money. Tamam? Clear this one. However, now the person says, well, who wants the actual rice? That's much more beneficial in my country or in my land or in my city or in my village to give the money, because imagine everyone gives you rice. Everyone, dan sit die persoon met 10 kilos rice, but there's nothing to eat with the rice. And that is actually not the objective of why Imam Shafi'i said, but let's assume that. So now he says, okay, it's best to give naqdan. So what he does now is he converts the rice into money, the value of it, and he says the value of the rice. What is a kilo of rice? What is a mud? Okay, let's convert it. I'm giving the value of it. Call it 40 rand. This 40 rand according to Hanafi madhab. Is it valid or invalid? It's invalid. Why is it invalid? That is talfiq, where he chooses something in the one madhab and he wants to implement the concept in the madhab, another madhab, but it's neither valid in the Shafi'i madhab nor is it valid in the Hanafi madhab. It's not valid in the Shafi'i madhab. Why? Because you can't give the value of it in zakatul fitr. You must give the ayn, the actual rice. It's not valid in the Hanafi madhab. Why? Because the Hanafi madhab don't regard rice to be a staple. Rice in terms of the Hanafi madhab is not a staple. So he took the rice, he converted it, the value of it into money, and he gave out the money thinking that he is complying with the value in terms of the Hanafi madhab, but there's no value to rice in the Hanafi madhab. The Hanafis don't regard rice to be a staple. Another example, mathalan, would be, he says, okay, my staple is dates. Now, according to the Shafi'i madhab, dates is still once, it's sa', it's a mud. Sa'. According to the no, there's no staple, there's no rice. The Ahnaf don't regard rice to be a staple. So according to the Ahnaf, Imam Shafi'i has a much more wider view of what is staple. To the point Imam Shafi'i even speaks about aqit and jubn, cheese and dried milk and those type of things. Right? The Hanafis are much more strict in terms of what they regard as the ghalib al-qut al-balad, what the general qut staple of the country is. And rice is not one of them. So if he took the value of rice and he converted it to money, he gave it according to the Hanafis, it's invalid. Or he takes, for example, he says dates. According to the Shafi'i madhab, it's a certain amount. He converts it in the Hanafi madhab. The Hanafis don't say it's that amount. They say it's a higher amount. Because the Hanafis, they differ. They say nusf, half a sa' wala mud. What is the no of the it's not a mud, it's a sa'. No, I'm sorry, I said mud. Sa'an. A sa', it's a sa'. It is 4 muds. Jazakumullah khair. It is 4 muds. I said 1 mud. The mud is the fidya. The mud, wahid mud is a fidya. In terms of the zakat fitr is sa'. However, in the Hanafi madhab, you have certain staples, it's only nusf sa', and certain staples is a whole sa'. By way of example, zabib. Zabib, according to the mu'tamad in the Hanafi madhab, zabib is nusf sa'. However, dates is a sa'. And the reason why the Hanafi say that the zabib, the raisins, is a nusf sa', half a sa', whereas the dates is an entire sa', is because the zabib, you can eat the whole one. You can eat everything. So you benefit from the entire raisin. You don't have to take a pit out of the raisin. Unlike the date, you have to take out a pit. So you're actually losing value. So he doubles it up in the Hanafi madhab because why you can't eat the pit. We eat pit. Eat the dal pit. You don't eat dal pit. Dal pit. Seeing what the dal pit, the dates. The Prophet ﷺ was sitting once, and so he was sitting with Sayyidina Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu. And the Prophet ﷺ was eating dates, and Sayyidina Ali was eating dates as well. And Sayyidina Ali was eating, and as he was eating the dates, he should take the pits and he should shift it over to Rasulullah. He shifted over to Rasulullah. And Rasulullah was eating the dates. Eventually, when they were done eating, Rasulullah had a whole heap of date pits in front of him. So he says, Sayyidina Ali says, Ya Rasulullah, you ate a lot of dates? All your pits here that you ate? Because now the Rasulullah's pits, date pits, and it's his. So the Prophet ﷺ says, yeah, it looks like you ate the dates with the pits. Because he had no pits in front of you. As you see, like you ate the dates with the pits. No. So, but no one eats the date pits. Right? So as a result of that, because there's wastage in it, there's a waste of the value of the, or the weight of the pit, he doubles it up in order so the person can get more value out of the dates, unlike the raisins. وهكذا. So that is an example of talfiq. He takes the view in the Shafi'i madhab of the rice and he converts it in terms of the Hanafi madhab. But you can't convert in the Shafi'i madhab, and rice is also not a staple in the Hanafi madhab. That is talfiq. So is zakat al-fitr is neither valid in the Shafi'i madhab, nor is it valid in the Hanafi madhab. What do you do? You make what's known as tawfiq. Tawfiq is where you combine between the two in a valid manner. And that is that you must make sure that you comply with all the reasons or all the conditions in terms of that madhab that you are applying. Don't apply it subjectively. Why am I saying this now? Is now you get a person. He where will we now? Where will we? اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد. Where will we? No, not the saw. What's this? 40 saw. We were saying that so now the person he eventually gets now to the point where he studies those types of things, the differences in the madhahib, and then why Imam Shafi'i chose that view and not the view of Imam Abu Hanifa, because Imam Abu Hanifa's madhab came before his, and Imam Malik's view came before his. So Imam Shafi'i he studied Imam Abu Hanifa's madhab, he studied the madhab of Imam Malik, he was a student of Imam Malik, but he went against the aqwal of his own Shaykh, because he found that certain proofs are stronger, and that's why he adopted that view. So then you study that. That you only study at a very advanced level. You study the technicalities and the responses between the madhahib. No. Now a person that is maftoonun fi ilmihi, a person that is tested, or a person that he doesn't study the knowledge for the right reasons, this website and they were spreading, and this website is false news, and they were spreading the message on the website, saying that that Habib Umar, he's a great worshipper, and he makes an add extra rukn to the deen of Islam, the 6 pillars of Islam. He goes to the qabr of Nabi Hud and he makes tawaf around the qabr, and he adds to the Hajj another pillar to the deen, 6 pillars of the deen. Shaykh Abdul Rahim was there a couple of times. Shaykh Abdul Rahim can tell you whether that is the reality or not. But Mawlana Marwan also just came recently from the qabr of Nabiullah Hud. And anyway, here's the thing. So some of our brothers, they are attending masajid for Jummah, and to their surprise, they see that people are ripping off the posters of the masajid. They're taking the posters off from the masajid, and they're giving out pamphlets outside the masjid, the reality of Habib Umar, the reality, exposing him. He must go to this website and he will check the realities. And so they came to us and said, Shaykh, what do we do in this instance? Shaykh Abdul Rahman, Shaykh, what do we do? And I said, I think just leave him. What can you do? There's nothing you can do. What is interesting is that year, that what do we do? These people are creating false information about the Mogammed, Etiquette, and what do we do? And many of the scholars in our class are very competent, they're very capable. They're very competent and capable of debating it. They're very competent. Some of the scholars that they're very competent in terms of the science. In terms of the Aqeedah and the Manhaj, the Habib said, don't debate. Teach and educate the masses. So he said, in words, don't debate, rather educate. Don't debate, but educate the masses and teach them the Aqeedah of Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah. What they believe is, if they want to believe, they want to believe it. What's important is the awam, the masses. They must know what the true Aqeedah of Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah. That's it. But don't engage in any debate. So Abdul Rahim was saying now, why was it so well attended? Al-Imam Shaykh said, وَإِذَا أَرَادَ اللَّهُ نَشْرَ فَضِيلَةٍ طُوِيَتْ أَتَاهَا عَلَى لِسَانِ حَسْنٍ. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to spread a virtuous act that is hidden, then Allah ta'ala allows it to be spread on the tongue of the person who has influence. Allah wants to expose a good thing, and Allah makes a person who is happy. Allah makes him speak about it. Now he serves as your marketing. So they say, in many of our sites, you see some people, they have posters saying, but you know that it's going to show people going to come. Allah's deen is going to say, Allah's deen or these four corners of the world, whether you like it, whether you don't like it, whether you accept it, whether you don't want it. Yeah, naturally about it. So, I think with regards to debating in relation to Quran, the next discussion is very simple. Basically, just say that a person may forget a verse in Quran, he shouldn't say, I forgot. He said, I have been made to forget. You must say naseed, you must say unseed. I have been made to forget. And what this means is that either وَمَا أَنْسَانِيهُ إِلَّا شَيْطَانَ أَذْكُرُ, on account of shaitan making him forget, or unseetu, I was made to forget on account of my heedlessness and my sins. My state of heedlessness and my sins is the reason why I forgot them. But don't say I forgot the Quran. I was made to forget on account of my poor state and my poor hal. And in the next chapter, Imam Al-Nawawi speaks about the surah. A person shouldn't say, Baqarah bacha, Ali Imran, Ikhlas, Ma'idah kah? Bila baca kah? Saya surah Al-Baqarah. Saya surah Al-Imran, surah Al-Kahf, surah Yasin. Baca aku Yasin. Baca surah Yasin, surah Yasin. Baca Yasin. Atas Yasin. Sekarang شو عدم الأصلي شو عدم أزمنا كيف نسيت تاي جيبلس يسير شيخ عبد الرحيم شيخ مروان يدور يسير سورة ياسين كلام speech of if you say a doctor they say what's his name doctor Lakhadi now they say Lakhadi come here. So bis lakad mo din I'm a doctor, I study, I'm a doctor, professor, right? But when it comes to dunya titles, we're very strict about it. I'm an advocate and I'm a doctor and I'm a professor. When it comes to the Quran, it's just Yasin, Tabar, Surah Yasin, Surah Tabar. And we are all guilty of this. When we're saying the Etiquette is a reminder, so if you hear me say Shaykh Yasin, Surah Yasin, Itabaraki, Surah Tabar, the Fatiha is Surah Al-Fatiha, and in the last part of his discussion, he just speaks about the different riwayat of the Qira'ah. He says, for example, Abu Amr, or the Qira'ah of Nafi', or Hamza, or Kisa'i. And they are 7 riwayat mutawatir, and the thing that is mashhur, the same that is mutawatir is undisputed. You can read it in salah, you can read it outside salah. The mashhur in the Quran is different. Some of the Quran said you can't read the 3 that is mashhur in salah. You can read it outside salah, but you can't read it in salah because it hasn't reached the level of the authoritative and the veracity of the 7 qira'at. So for example, the riwayah of Abu Ja'far or the riwayah of Khalaf al-Ashir, you can't read that riwayah. Some of them say you can. Some of them say you can read in Sunnah and not in Farad. Some of them say you can't read in Salah period, but you can read outside Salah. But the 7, you can read inside Salah, outside Salah, Farad, nothing. Makes no difference. But what's he saying? He's asking, can a person say, I'm going to read the Qira'ah of Nafi' now, or the Qira'ah of Hamza, or the Qira'ah of Kisa'i? Is it okay for me to say so that I attribute the Quran to a specific person? He says, هذا هو المختار الذي عليه عمل السلف والخلف. They say I'm going to read the Qira'ah of Hamza, I'm going to read the Qira'ah of Nafi'. It's not Hamza's words. It's not Kisa'i's words. And it's not Nafi''s words. It's not Asim's words. It's not their words. They are narrators of the Qira'ah, but it's not their words. So everyone knows the Kalam of Allah, but you're just narrating it back to the person who is the narrator of the Qira'ah. The same Ibn Shafi and the Hanafi. Why follow Shafi? Follow Rasulullah. Why follow Hanafi? Follow Quran and Sunnah. Imam Shafi did not follow Quran and Sunnah. Did Abu Hanifa not follow Quran and Sunnah? Why follow Ash'ari? أنت لا تكون سلفي تكون أهل السنة والجماعة بأهل السنة وأهل السنة فقط. أشعري ماتريدي حنفي شافعي. Except that the Ash'ariyya, Maturidiyya, they transmitted the Aqidah and they codified it, and you're attributing to them. It's not the Aqidah. That's the Aqidah of Rasulullah. The Sahaba. In the same way that Madam Shah, he crystallized the hadith, the ayah, he looked at it, he brought it down, he codified it, and it was attributed to him. But it's not his. It is the Kalam of Allah and the Kalam of Sayyidina Muhammad. And therefore, in conclusion, Sayyidina Imam Shafi'i, he says, وَجِدْتُ. Look at the Imam Shafi'i, he says, وَجِدْتُ. لو أن الناس أخذوا مني هذا العلم ولم ينسبوا إليه حرف واحد. I wish that people could take this knowledge from me and they mustn't say once that Imam Shafi'i said so.
sincerity. They didn't want to be known. Allah Ta'ala chooses who He raises. And Allah Ta'ala chooses who He degrades and may Allah Ta'ala elevate us through His name. May Allah Ta'ala not abase us and degrade us and humiliate us through His deen. May Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala grant us honor and dignity through His kalam. وكلام محمد وصلنا من كلام الصالحين العلماء الربانيين the rightfully guided الإمة of this ummah. آمين يا رب العالمين. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم بسبيل الفاتحة إلى حضرة النبي.
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أستغفر الله نسألك الجنة ونعوذ بك من النار. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أستغفر الله نسألك الجنة ونعوذ بك من النار.